even played yet, or they're playing now.
They're playing right now.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're all
All
on
right,
the same
Tony,
page.
we need you to get out there and get them lights.
Oh, get the fingers working.
Yeah,
I got the magic fingers. Don't
Hey,
worry.
hey. Kimberly said her next. Don't wear them out too much. All right. I'm sorry. All right, there we go. We're in here.
Full set.
All right, we're gonna get everything set up. We're gonna get ready to go. We're gonna rock and roll. 8:30 podcast starts. 8:30 podcast starts.
Walmart.
How much was it?
It's on its bottom. Jordan is what's on its bottom. Jordan is your
The hell are you watching?
Some robots.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I was posting that video on my TikTok, and then whatever this is, the title is The Divorce, and it's just the music in the background.
Oh
Does
god.
that actually give likes?
Get you popping up.
Got that.
Yeah.
Likes.
I need to turn this down.
More frequent.
It's just the music in the back.
Get you popping.
You hear that vibrating sound?
Oh goddamn! Is that one? Is that one of those videos?
No, that's my phone.
Oh, have you seen those videos where it's like the TikTok shock vibrator? It's like, some bitch is like, selling you like a motorboat.
And you're so famous. I'm not even liking that.
Hey, tell him to get his damn fingers running.
Who?
Your son, I heard. Did you not hear him? He said, "You're so famous." He said, "You're so famous." Yeah. All right. Give me just a second. One more to get ready, then we're gonna be going.
Yeah, because my fingers aren't as fast as they used to be. I ain't as good as I once was.
My finger's pretty fast.
There's actually
Oh, it's pretty fast, isn't it?
almost got yourself 1,000.
Spirit fingers, like I do.
There's actually other people like it, and I'm not even doing it.
Might be Kim.
What'd he say?
He said there's actually other people liking it. I'm not even liking it.
Tell him to keep it down back there. We can hear him.
Yeah, they can hear you.
All right.
Keep it down
All
there.
right. Here we go. All right, Tony, we're in pregame. You're done eating, so we didn't get a chance to talk about this. So, Derrick Henry, another great stellar game.
Nothing to talk about.
I mean, he had a great game. I mean, he's literally having one of the greatest seasons he's ever had. I just want you like. You said he was washed up. That's all I'm saying.
He is washed.
Didn't Riddle show you a video today of him running 21.75 miles an hour, and you said that's
Probably
slow?
didn't watch it. Yeah, I said, is that fast?
Oh my god!
I said it seems kind of slow today.
I told you that's exactly what he said.
Oh my god! I think I said, he literally has like the fourth fastest time in the NFL.
Wyatt's already getting started on you, Brandon.
Oh, Wyatt. Oh, Jalen Milroe looked really good. Oh my God, you must have been watching him while I was sleeping. Hey, thank you for the follow. You must have been watching him while I was sleeping, Wyatt. I'm sorry.
Looks really good over there under that awning next to that fan.
Yeah, he looks good. Lean back. SEO Ducks. What the hell is SEO Ducks? What's that, Tony?
SEO Ducks. That's something about Oregon, I'm assuming.
Is it Oregon? Is it Oregon? Hey, I mean,
unless we have a hockey fan in here.
Hey, Oregon's playing good football, man. I can't knock Oregon. Let's go Ducks. All right, hey, man. Hey, we're all about.
I don't believe in them. But
well, I mean, hey, until they get beat,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Have you seen their schedule?
Yeah, it's I mean,
they'll lose when it matters.
Yeah, but thoughts on Hopkins. Thoughts on Hopkins. So it's funny you say that. I'll let Tony take the question, but Wyatt said thoughts on Hopkins. Me and Tony actually talked about this exact thing, like we were texting each other. Tony, go ahead. Thoughts on Hopkins?
Oh, Hopkins. Hell, it's whatever. I mean, he's really not going to be missed. Not trying to be a douchebag, anything like that. I mean,
Not this year.
It's not like losing Derrick Henry or anything. Now, I've said I think
Finally get some credit. Put some love on his name.
I said that I still think he's dealing with some type of injury, anyways. And
That's probably true.
Because he hurt his knee pretty bad in training camp, and he hasn't looked quick, I guess. But there's Tennessee got a fifth, but can be a fourth if Hopkins plays 60% of snaps. Why would he not play 60%? Why would he not play 60% of snaps if he was healthy?
Yeah,
That's why I feel like something's wrong with him. Now, of course, I go to fourth if he plays more than 60. It's whatever. I mean, he's on his last year of his contract. He wasn't coming back anyway. So, just like the Derrick Henry scenario, should have traded him when we had a chance. Could have got something in return for him.
We got something at least. We're building collateral, I think, which is important.
Yeah, because we haven't had that, Titan. Well, the previous regime where they blew through all the draft picks, trading it left and right, and missing picks. You're missing picks, on top of that, and you're not hitting most of your picks. It's kind of a big deal.
That's a good deal. That's a good question. So, biggest miss by the Titans on draft picks, Tony. I'm pretty sure we got the same one, but I want to hear what you think. Lately.
Here lately over the last 5 years, well, obviously he's got to be the guy who didn't even play. Traylon Burks is number 2, but Isaiah Wilson's number 1.
Isaiah Wilson was my number 1. You think Burks was a miss?
I mean, yeah, because first off, trading for AJ, and all we did was swap first-round picks with the Eagles, which is crazy. We didn't get anything else, and he's turned out to be absolute doo-doo. He's on the IR again, so his run in Tennessee's probably over with. I hope, anyways, because I can't deal with it no more.
I mean,
someone that can stay healthy, make plays.
Well, I mean, we went out and got Ridley, and I mean, we got to call it what it is. Ridley is actually a good player. I mean, he's a good player.
Yeah,
and he actually, he makes plays. I just don't have anybody that can deliver the ball to him. Really,
he can make plays. Yeah, and a lot of the balls that he has been targeted on been uncatchable. Now he has had a few drops.
Yeah,
but I mean, a lot of the balls though has been people are going through looking at stats, looking at the targets he's got per game. Like, but how many is catchable? That's the problem here.
All right, so in the chat we got Will Howard equals Dan Prescott. I don't know who that guy is, but he sounds like my accountant.
I don't want to.
Dan Prescott. That's Dax. That's a Dax nerdy brother. Go Dogs. We got a Go Dogs fan. So we got
always.
We got old Riddle, and then
we'll get back to the top of the mountain soon.
Who's Bless? Did you say that's the boys?
No, I don't know.
I thought Tony said that. So Wyatt asked, would you start Archer Quinn if you were the head coach? This is tough. Riddle, you answer this one.
So I think Sarkisian knew that Ewers got shell-shocked. I think he knew that the whole team got shell-shocked, and they needed to try to change something up in that game, so he put Arch in. Arch is a little faster. It wasn't that he was benching Ewers. It was, hey, come over here, sit down, calm down, get back in it type of deal. I still think Arch has a lot of room to grow. I think they weren't ready for that moment. They hadn't been in that moment as much as Georgia had. You could tell Georgia was the more prepared team. We talked about it last Wednesday that there was avenues for Georgia to win, and, they took care of business. But as far as me, if it was my choice, I think you have to stick with Ewers. I think Ewers is just the better arm, the better pocket passer, the more seasoned guy. I think Arch still has a lot of room to grow. Don't get me wrong. I think Arch is an incredible quarterback, and I think he's going to be an incredible quarterback. But this is Ewers' team, and I think they just got shell-shocked. They had happened to them what Georgia had happened to against Alabama. They got smacked right in the mouth, and they didn't respond well.
I thought it was crazy that they pulled him out. I don't care.
Yeah, I do too.
Let it ride it out.
Yeah.
Now you start controversy.
Arch will be there next year. He ain't going nowhere. So, all right, we got chat. Kias and Twitch says, hello, gents. What's up, Kias? Thank you for being here. We're glad to have you back. And then Austin said, go Tigers. Thoughts on Clemson? Tony, you want to give him some thoughts? Riddles, we're going to leave him out since Georgia beat the crap out of Clemson, but Clemson is
looked real good since
looking
then,
better. Yeah. Tony,
They're
go
good.
ahead.
They are very good for an ACC team.
Okay. Better than Miami. If you had to put them up against each other right now, who'd you take?
on paper and stats would probably say Clemson, but if I'm going by paper, I'm probably taking Clemson. But Miami, I know their defense isn't very good. I mean, here lately it's been kind of absolute dog water, but it's hard for me to go against Cam Ward right now.
Cam Ward's just winning, dude.
It's ugly games, but hell, he's doing his job.
Yeah,
I mean, he's putting points up. So.
Number one in QBR. So, for talking stats, so that's. I mean, Clemson's playing good ball. So I agree. I'd probably pick Clemson just because I feel like their defense is pretty solid. But I don't know. I mean, all right. Let's see here. Auburn fan, but love y'all's content. Hey, thank you, man. We try. So we got 2 Tennessee fans, 2 Alabama fans, and a Georgia fan, and we will take any and all.
Which means 60% of the people in here are just born to hate Auburn.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it is what it is, though. I mean, you can't be mad at them. We all got to be fans of somebody, right? So might as well be who you love. All right.
Wyatt's got a question for Tony.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's a good one. So hey, what is it like choosing between Will Levis and Rudolph as a starter?
Well, it's like, I guess, deep throating a cactus. Oh, it's pretty rough. I mean, there's no win-win. It's a lose-lose. I think Rudolph, he's going to make the less mistakes, but then the playmaking ability, stretching down the field, it's really not there.
It's awesome.
I mean, this is pretty much, I just expect pretty much, they're not going to tank, but they're going to give it their all to lose. I mean, they're not going to win games even when they're trying, okay? So let's just say that. Defense can be good as they want, but this offense just stinks. And there's no saving it right now. Well, I don't know, unless Levis just regains anything of what he had last year. Because he looked a lot better last year. This year, he just looks like the
Hold on,
Levis
I'll be right
from
back.
Kentucky. So,
Yeah. Be right back.
I don't know. They're lost.
Think the fire sale's done with Tennessee, Tony?
Fire sale? No. I think, like I said, I told y'all, I think Landry's got to be next. I think Harold Landry's got to be next because he has one of those friendly contracts for a team that needs a pass rusher. I think he still has like 2 years, and I think most of his guarantee money has been paid. So nothing would hurt Tennessee on it.
He said.
And
Yeah.
I think Landry had to be next.
He said, thanks for saying UT pipes in crowd noise. The best possible compliment. So that was Kane Womack. I mean, he's in running for the Southern Miss job, and we're hoping he takes it. So just take that with a grain of salt. We're all human, man. We make mistakes. Kia says he thinks Miami's overrated. Cam Ward's not overrated. Cam Ward's good. Cam Ward's good. The rest of the team around him. Restrepo is really good at receiver. They just, I agree. There's some holes in the Miami team, but there's holes in every team this year. Wyatt says, "Are you excited to play the Lions, Tony?"
I seen a stat today. Tennessee, the Titans, since they moved to Nashville, have not lost to the Lions ever, home or away. Oh, it's about to be first time. So we'll be 1-6 by the end of Sunday. So no, I'm not excited because I say our defense will do a serviceable job. In the first half, and then they'll get tired because our offense can't stay on the field because we love 3 and outs. This is 3 and out country.
Three and out country. Three and out country. Hey, you sure?
We get worn down, we won't score.
You sure? That's Alabama, man. Alabama is 3 and out country.
At the pro level, no.
Oh, okay. Titans going to take Jalen Milroe.
They do. I won't watch me. I won't watch them. And I already told Riddle, I don't even know if I'm interested in watching another Titans game this year. Really, I'll find something else to do.
So if the Titans get the number 1 pick, and you were in there and had to make that decision, Tony, who do you take?
God, it's going to be a quarterback.
There's so many needs.
A quarterback.
So many needs.
Yeah, there's so many, but no, I'm not trading out. No, you got to go quarterback again.
Well, who you taking though? Who are you taking?
That's a good question because there's still a lot of question marks around.
Like, I don't know if there's anybody worth taking, to be honest. I mean, if we're just
Of
calling it.
course, I know. I guess if you're going off talent wise, a lot of experts say Shador, but I'm not even quite sold on him. I mean, he's taking a beat to Colorado because they don't have a O-line, which the Titans O-line's been better. They've been getting better. It's a young O-line, and now you got a turd playing right tackle again, Petit Frere. So that sucks. Yeah. But, I mean, I think you go quarterback. You going quarterback. Now who? I don't know, but you got to go quarterback if he had number one pick.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I'm not, like, I would not a trick question. I just want to know.
And there's no need to trade back no more. Trade back never helps Titans. I've seen it too many times.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't help.
I know. But like, if you go for a quarterback and you miss out on a big quarterback next year, like an Arch Manning.
Oh well.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess it is. Oh well.
Because I mean, we'll probably still stink whoever we draft if we had no more pick. So it doesn't matter.
Okay, so speaking of shitty quarterbacks, did y'all see Andy Dalton this week?
Yeah,
the guy they benched. They said Bryce is terrible. He's terrible. Andy Dalton's terrible. I mean, what I'm getting at is they're both terrible, but I don't think the terribleness is just limited to the quarterback on the Panthers. I think that there's literally no weapons around them.
Who's the Panthers head coach again?
A jabroni? I don't know.
Well, Dalton's out. Dalton's out Sunday.
Yeah, I know.
Need someone like McDaniels down in Miami. They need someone like that. I mean, that's the way to go with a young. Look at Tua. Tua struggled under Flores.
Flores.
And then,
sorry, I'm trying to paint my camera.
No,
Flores just didn't believe in him at all, though. That was.
Oh, I don't see that's a problem, though.
Yeah, I mean,
McDaniels has done a pretty good job with Tua, you know. So
I mean, and in all actuality, like I think Tua is. I don't think he's the best quarterback in the league, but if he could stay healthy, I think he'd be a really good quarterback. But he can't stay healthy. I mean, it is what it is. He cannot stay healthy.
He has his limits on what he can and can't do, and I think McDaniels knows that.
Yeah. If he would just quit running, dude. If he would just quit running, what do you need to run for? You've got like the best receiving core in the damn. I mean.
Well, he should have slid though. There was no reason for him to try to run through. What's his face from Buffalo?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no reason for that.
Did you hear what he said, Brendan? He said it's no reason to try to run through the dude from Buffalo that died.
I mean, sometimes you got to call it what it is, man. All right, so looking at this. Okay, this Wyatt said, "What was going through your head watching Jalen on the game-winning drive?" Which game-winning drive? Are we talking about the Georgia game-winning? Like, I wouldn't even call that Jalen. He threw the ball up, and a guy that's talented caught it and made two guys miss. So I'm not even going to rub that. Like, there's nothing to say. I mean, honestly, the game, we shouldn't even let him back in the game, and the fact that we did, and that's no disrespect to your team, the fact that we did just tells you where we are as a program. We got lucky to win that game. I mean, let's be honest.
Over here.
No, it's fine. What's going on?
You listening?
Oh, you over there? You over chatting it up? That's what it's all about at the pregame. Oh, game tying drive versus Tennessee. What was going through your head watching the game tying?
Milroe. He's talking about Milroe.
I mean, we talking hypotheticals now. We typing. He didn't tie no game. That dude. I don't know that dude. So now everybody's saying he's hurt. They said he got hurt at some point. That's why they said they looked at his throw and looked at his throwing mechanics, and like his throws to the sideline are constantly sailing up, which they never have before. And I'm sitting there going, dude, y'all just stop, man. This dude, I'm not saying he's not going through something, and I don't want to sit here and pile on the guy, but the guy makes $3 million a year. And if you make $3 million a year to play college football, by God, you're signing up to get piled on. I'm just telling you. If you make $3 million a year, if you're Carson Beck and drive a Lamborghini, or you're on a Texas football team and you get a Lamborghini for showing up to practice, by God, we should be able to say whatever the hell we want, and you should have the nuts to sit there and take it. I mean, that's just the way that is. I don't know what else to say. But nah, he let me down, bro. I don't know. And I like the guy. I don't have nothing against him. That doesn't mean he's a good quarterback for Alabama. He said business as usual is what I was thinking during the last drive. That's Kias. He's a Bama fan. He said it's sad but true. I mean, like I said, Jordan, I didn't even bring this up last weekend. Y'all can attest. Jordan even brought it up and said he didn't realize how distant and like out of the game he seemed to be when he's on the sideline. Jordan brought that up.
Oh,
like,
it's bad.
Yeah. Everybody sees it, man. I don't know, like, if I'm an NFL team, I mean, this guy's playing for his career. If I'm an NFL team, I'm upset about this. Like, I'm upset. Like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't want that guy because that guy, like, that's not the guy, man. But, I mean, I'd rather have Tua, who's at least willing to put his body on the fucking line for the team. Oh man, I don't know.
No Guardian hat for him either.
Nope.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't even understand the Guardian hat thing. Someone will have to explain this to me.
It's supposed to prevent concussions. Period. Almost
Okay.
0%. Supposed to.
Yeah. Wyatt said, "Did you help take down the goalpost?" He
Did
probably.
I?
Yeah.
2022, he might have.
Yeah, I wasn't there this time.
Yeah, he wasn't there this time, but that's
No,
all right.
Tickets are insane. Didn't go.
Yeah, I mean,
He was trying to though.
tickets are always insane. Like, you know what I mean? Tickets are
Yeah.
always insane. Like when
Oh.
Alabama, Tennessee are good.
Yeah, but it was more. It cost more this time than it did the last time
Yeah. Yeah.
by a couple $100.
I just think 2022 was like a shock to everybody. No one really expected that season to go that way. And now it's kind of like y'all expected to be in it at least. So,
Yeah.
yeah, everybody's hanging out. Like I said, watching, go ahead and like, follow. And we're going to start the podcast portion of the night at 8:30. We're just waiting on our fourth. So we're going to start that podcast and we're going to sit here and kind of go through our content. I think we got some good stuff for y'all tonight. I think you're going to enjoy it. Definitely talking about things I never thought in a million years I would ever talk about.
Oh, wait, hold on.
And I mean that with respect to some of these programs. I just never thought I'd be talking about them.
Jordan just messaged me.
What did he say?
He said, "Are y'all crap stains already live?"
Yes. Yes, we are, Jordan. Yes, we are. So with that said, we're waiting on Jordan. Uncle,
That's what I said. I said,
oh, Uncle Yukon. Oh man, we're gonna be all right. So we'll get this podcast. Like I said, oh, Tony Pardos. You put you one of them fancy Discord backgrounds.
Fancy. I didn't see anything fancy about it.
You didn't. Oh man, get you one of them. Who looks better right now, the SEC or the Big Ten? Oh man, what a question. Okay, Riddle can answer it since he's
what was it?
SEC or Big Ten. Who's better right now?
Is that a real question?
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I'm just here, man. Kia said, "Get in here, jolly old Redbeard." He knows him well.
So, I'm an SEC guy.
Me
Okay.
too.
If you go by the rankings, you would have to say that the Big Ten at the top is better than the SEC this year. But if you go, maybe not even that. I don't know. You got Oregon at 1, Penn State at 3, Ohio State at 4, then you got Georgia at 2, Texas at 5, Tennessee at 7.
I just feel like their schedules are backloaded, Riddle. Like I feel like the Big Ten, the big teams.
Not all of them.
But like, I would say like Ohio State and Oregon played. One team won.
Yeah, Oregon plays their last ranked matchup of the year Saturday.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm assuming one team's going to end up, kind of walking away, but they still got to play in the Big Ten championship though. So like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, is it possible? Like Ohio State's still got a couple of big games left, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to say SEC just because I think we beat the hell out of each other, and that's the only reason why we're even talking about the Big Ten. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if Alabama didn't beat Georgia, Georgia would have just beat Texas, and we would be sitting here talking about how dominant Georgia is and how they cannot be stopped. That's what we'd be saying. But Georgia's got one loss by a touchdown, and everyone's like, oh, shit, the mighty have fallen. I said it last week. Georgia's still really good.
Let's ask this question: does Vanderbilt beat Illinois?
I'm gonna tell you this. I think Vanderbilt have a good shot against Illinois.
That's
think
the
so.
two lowest ranked teams from those conferences in the top 25 right now.
What do you think, Tony? I mean, Vanderbilt, Illinois.
I mean, I guess Vandy has a shot.
Thank you for following, Jordan.
I don't know if it's definite.
No, I mean, I don't think any of it's
Both
definite.
teams, I think they're about on par with each other across the board. I mean,
Did you read that comment, Riddle?
Mm.
He said, "If they can beat Alabama, they can damn sure beat Illinois." I mean, I'm not going to argue that logic. It's possible. So somebody said, "Brandon, what happened?" I'm assuming you're talking about the Tennessee Alabama game, and we got beat.
that just highlights him even more back there.
Yeah, we got beat. Thank you for liking. Thank you for following. I said it the day we beat Georgia. Kia said the day we beat Georgia, we got lucky. I think most Bama fans agree. This is probably an 8-4 team, honestly.
I don't think it was luck. I think y'all came out and did exactly what you were supposed to in the first half, and Georgia
I just don't know if that's.
respond.
I don't know if that's who we are, though, Riddle. I think Georgia was a little shell shocked, but I don't know if that's really the team that we are. Like consistently. I mean, you saw the second half.
Well, I would say from the second half of that game on, y'all
have just been
completely
lost.
different. Yeah.
Jimmy said Milrose regressing. No one's going to disagree with that. Told you Friday we would win. Hey, man. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I picked Tennessee to win, so I didn't need anybody to tell me I picked Tennessee. I've got it recorded. I picked Tennessee to win the game.
Lions got to be joking here.
Why Milroe will look good in that Titan? Yeah, dude. So I root for the Titans too, and I wouldn't want Milroe anywhere near Wyoming's team. Okay, yeah, and they don't have one, so forgive me. You know what? Hey, Milroe would look good as a 7th round pick at receiver.
Yeah,
we'll take him on the Titans. His athleticism, we'll use him like Antoine Randall L.
Oh, you can. Use him as a fucking running back too. He likes to run.
Tony will do them little double reverse passes. No, Milroe. I'm not trying to pile on him. I don't know what's going on with him, but it's not. He has definitely gotten a little bit worse. I can agree with y'all. All right. So Kia said, "Take the compliment, Riddle."
I missed it.
Yeah, he just said that the day we beat Georgia, we got lucky, and he's like, you rebutted him. He's like, just take the compliment, Riddle. I think he probably knows us as well as anybody that's followed us.
I'm very much a realist, though. Like I will take the compliment. I appreciate the compliment, but even with the win over Texas Saturday, there's still so many things that Georgia can improve on and get better on. So,
100%. Yeah. I think that's yeah. And he said at the same time, Nick Sheridan's calling the plays. I don't have any issues with like some of the play calls. I said some of the play calls. I'm not saying hey, thank you for following, Richard. I'm just saying, like, if you're not executing, like, does anyone think for a second if we had Carson back in there on Saturday night, we wouldn't have I'm not saying we win. I'm saying we would have hit some throws. Milroe was missing wide open people. We all talked about that. I mean, thank you for following, CM. Yeah. Jimmy said Georgia's best team Texas has played. They could be fool's gold too. You could be right. You could be right. I mean, we're going to find out, guys, that we're all going to play each other. I mean, Texas still has Texas A&M left. Who else they got? Who else Texas got? Vandy this weekend, which I do not see an issue, but we'll see. Tennessee. This is Tennessee's last real matchup. No, wait. They don't even have a match. Who y'all are off this week, aren't you?
Yeah, we're off.
Who am I thinking of? Who do y'all play? Like, oh, Georgia's y'all's last real matchup. That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
No, we got Kentucky.
No, they still got Vandy.
Yeah, Vandy's to end it. You know.
And here's the thing. Okay, so here's me complimenting Tennessee now. I think Tennessee's defense is built to stop the run, and I don't think Vandy has a prayer against Tennessee's defense. Okay, I get that. And the reason I say that is because Tennessee plays disciplined defense. That little option crap I don't think works. Now, if it was like Army, do I think Army could do some stuff creative early on in the game? Yes, but I think Tennessee's depth overall will take Army but that would be a fun game. Army Tennessee would be a fun game.
Jimmy said, I don't know if you covered this or not. I've kind of been doing a lot of other things. They said, Jimmy said the best team, Georgia was the best team Texas has played, and they could be fool's gold too. We brought that up. That their defense was where it was because the highest ranked offense they'd faced was Mississippi State at 71st in the nation.
He said Brandon doesn't bring the boom. We brought
on Saturday night.
Yeah, we brought enough boom Saturday night. You got to catch me. You got to catch me when I'm drinking. This is the podcast night. We got to be more politically correct in here. But no, Wyatt said the same thing. Bama's D is the worst I've seen. Yeah, it's the worst anyone's seen. And I can't really tell. So one, we knew the 3-3-5, 4-2-5, whatever you want to call it, wasn't going to work. Brought that up all year. It's not going to work in this league. If this freaking dude would just go to Southern Miss, take that job, that way nobody looks bad. He just takes that job. We'll go get a real defensive coordinator. I don't know who, but we'll go get somebody for real. Maybe. Is Archie starting QB from now on? We talked about that earlier, and the answer is no. There's no way.
You got to stick with yours.
Yeah, I think he's the leader of the team. Now I don't know why you'd pull him, and I don't know about all that. That seemed kind of stupid the other night, but what do we know? We're just sitting here on the podcast.
Yeah, where do we coach?
Yeah, where do we coach? That's right. We don't coach nowhere. We're nowhere coaches. The University of Someday. Kia said Bama's ability to run block is the worst I've ever seen. Yeah. Nah. It ain't like we don't have talent, but I don't know. So let's see here. Georgia, for instance, would y'all move up to 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2. And I think that's fair. I mean, Oregon till they get beat should be up there. I think that's a fair assessment.
But you'd have a lot of people upset if they put Georgia ahead of Oregon, with Oregon being undefeated.
Yeah, I understand.
There was a lot of people questioning Georgia jumping ahead of Penn State.
Get real.
But
yeah, I know. No, I mean, like, get real. I mean, like,
screaming that SEC bias.
I mean, resume matters. I mean, I think we all can agree with that. Resume matters, and I don't know.
And since they started the playoff, your performance in games matters too.
100%. I mean, like I said,
look at Tennessee. Look at Tennessee against Florida. They won that game. That's a rivalry game that Tennessee usually doesn't win historically. But they still got the win and dropped 4 spots in the polls.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, like, yeah, that made no sense too. Like, Tennessee is a good team. They're a good team, and it kills me to say it, but they're a good team. They got a good, solid defense. I still think they have tons of room to work on things like offense and stuff like that, but they are a good team, and they could cause some problems in the playoffs. Like I said, I don't know who really is a complete football team right now. When I say that, I mean that as kindly as I can. Who is a complete football team? I couldn't tell you right now. Like, Georgia's got holes. They're not running the ball the way I would like for them to. And I'm not a Georgia fan. But if like I said, if Alabama can't win it, I want an SEC team to make it. And he said Alabama not making the playoffs. Yeah, I think we went over that Saturday night pretty well. I mean,
I think they control their own destiny. I think they have to win out.
I just don't see us beating LSU. If I'm being a realistic fan, I don't see us beating LSU. Could we beat Missouri this weekend? Sure, we could. Could we beat Oklahoma? Yeah. Could we beat Auburn? Yeah. I think the more likely scenario is we lose to LSU, potentially lose another game that we shouldn't, and we go 8-4, and everybody starts screaming for DeBoer's head, and then we're like, oh, I mean, he ain't going nowhere. I don't know why anybody would do that. Ooh. Here's a good one from Wyatt. Do you think Brian Kelly will be fired after they miss the playoffs? Ooh, you got him missing the playoffs. That's that's a good question.
No.
CM is really just trying, brother. Can you spell elephant? Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't think Brian Kelly's fired, and I'm not 100% sure they don't make the playoffs. They're playing good football, so I don't know. Said that's Connor. Kimberly said that's Connor. Oh, that's little Tony. Okay. I know one thing. I know one thing, Connor. You can't spell my name, so. All right, let's see what Kia said. Kia said, funny thing is, when we hit the right side, we were good, but we failed to obtain any consistency. So I actually looked it up, and oh yeah, somebody spelled, yeah, there it is. There's the wrong name. Oh my God, I know who that is. I know exactly who that is. That's somebody.
User 966.
That's somebody else from. That's somebody else from work. That's somebody else from work. They misspelled my name, and I'm like, do you really not know how to spell my name?
I bet it got misspelled all the time when you were in the Banbury with the other Brandon.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, Tony, who's starting next week for the Titans?
Bro, that's like
Hell,
crazy.
I guess if Levis is healthy, I assume he's going to go back out there. That just like this past week, if Levis is healthy, he's going to start. They've already said that, and obviously he wasn't healthy enough to play this last week, so they had to start Rudolph. So if Levis is healthy, he's going. If he's not, it's going to be Rudolph. Either way, it's an L. It doesn't matter. So
just a status update for you, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
At 8:03, Jordan said he would be on in 5 or 6 minutes. So
Yeah.
He's a little behind.
He reminds me of my wife when he tells me we're going to leave in 5 minutes, and yeah, that doesn't happen. So Rachel, roll Tide. I did see your comment. We do not have a shot to playoffs. I don't think so. I think if you're a real Bama fan, you have to just take the wins with the losses and just say this year's chalked. I don't think we're going to make playoffs. Still, there's a lot to play for. We can play to establish consistency and try to play to establish an identity as a program under DeBoer. All we know is Saban, and we can all in this room say this ain't a Saban Alabama team, so they're going to have to figure something out. Anyway.
No team will ever be a Saban team.
Yeah, you cannot. Adventure with Rupert, he's a Tennessee fan. He said, I heard people saying they pumped crowd noise in Neyland. So, yeah. I heard the defensive coordinator say that, so I don't know, man. Like I said, it wasn't me. I didn't say it. I don't coach for him.
If you've ever been to Neyland Stadium, and I have quite a few times,
yep.
It is one of the loudest stadiums, if not the loudest stadium I've ever been in. I went to a WrestleMania one year at the Georgia Dome, and that's the only thing I could compare it to.
That's awesome. Venture said he was there. Man. Good. I bet it was awesome. Tony was there in 2022. He got to storm the field and smoke a cigar. Yeah. We're going to do one more comment. Rachel, what are your thoughts on sitting Milroe and letting Simpson in? If Milroe plays the first half with the inconsistency that he's been playing with, like I said, I'm hearing rumors or something. They're talking about him being hurt. I don't buy that. I think he's got a case of the yips. I mean, I'm just trying to be honest. But if he comes in and plays that way, I think you got to start looking at a change. I don't think you can keep going like this.
You think Simpson gives y'all a better chance?
I mean, He can't do no worse.
Does Simpson care more?
I guarantee you he cares more. I guarantee he cares more. Thank you, Amanda. We appreciate you. So, Jordan, you're here. Do you want to go ahead and start so we can get off sooner?
That's fine with me.
All right, Riddle, you good with that?
You're
Everybody-
the kids in
Yeah,
bed.
you're the one that's got to work tomorrow, so we're on
Yeah.
your time right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jordan does too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying both of y'all do. Me and Tony, we get the day off.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, we got to carry y'all. We're used to it.
That's all right. All right. So, all right. Everyone in the chat that's new, appreciate you. If you're here for the first time, like, follow, do all that goodness. We're going to start the podcast portion of this. So during the podcast, we're going to be limited on commenting because what we want to do is we want to get through the content we've got. We've got a lot of content we're going to go over today. Pretty good stuff. And then at the end, we'll answer any questions you got and throw some questions out in the chat. We got a segment. We're going to try to pick some of our best questions that we've seen, and we'll try to answer them directly for you guys. So with that said, we'll get started. So like I said, if we don't respond, it's not that we're ignoring you. We're just trying to get through the content we've got prepared. All right. So here we go. How far into this are we? We're trying to 40 minutes in. All right, here we go. All right, welcome back to Lock, Loaded, and Goated podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Andrews, accompanied by my friends Tony Pardo, Jeff Riddle Jr., Jordan Elkins, and we're Lock, Loaded, and Goated, and this is Wednesday's Weekend Roundup. So today, we got a loaded show, got a lot of content to go over. It's probably going to take us forever, but it's worth it. We got some topics we want to touch on, some marquee matchups, top 25 selections, the Yukon Cornelius solid gold picks of the week, and then we got some questions for the chat. And like I said, we'll listen to you guys, and then we'll get off here. But again, we want to respond to the chat, so just y'all do me a favor, stick around at the end. We'll answer all your questions for you. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this. And the first topic I want to talk about, guys, is Indiana. They have a chance to create some history, and I want to know what you guys are thinking, how you're feeling about Indiana. And I'm going to throw this one to Tony.
Chances creating history. Well, for themselves, they've already created history for them school. I'm not going to talk about the possible championship run. First time being 7-0 or better since 1945. They had another good season a few years before that, but this is 1945. Last time they were even started off 7-0. I think they started off 8-0 that year. And they finished conference champs. You know, they haven't even really sniffed being close to being conference champs. It's been a long time, I guess, if you want to count 2020.
Yeah.
2020, the COVID shortened year. That's not that impressive. But you know, they've been flying under the radar pretty much all season until they, whipped Nebraska's ass, and then it caught a lot of attention. Led by our Roart quarterback, who is. We already know he's got a little injury bug on him, but he'll be back. But championship aspirations. I mean, for them, they've already accomplished more than what a lot of people would have thought of. I wouldn't have thought of Indiana. Right. Being a possible playoff team, but okay. I mean, they're sniffing around right now. They have a shot if Penn State has a shot, and so does Indiana.
Yeah. So just to jump on your back a little bit, they have the number 2 offense in the nation at 49 points a game, and they look good. But you touched on something. I'm going to throw this one to Riddle. You touched on how Rourke being hurt impacts their title hopes. Riddle, what are you thinking there?
Yeah.
Well, when I was looking it up today, Cignetti came out and said that he won't play this week, but they could possibly have him back November 2nd against Michigan State, and that means he would only miss the one game. If that's the case, they get through Saturday, they'll be right back where they were. So, but if it's an extended period of time, that's a big shot to them because Taven Jackson's the Tennessee transfer, the kid that went back home. He's played well when he's been in. He's 12 of 18 for 225 and 3 touchdowns this year. Plus, he gives them that running option. But Rourke is tied for the lead in the Big Ten in touchdown passes at 15. He's second in the Big Ten in completion percentage at 74.6%, and he's a 2-time Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. So he's a big part of their offense. Yeah. So having him back as soon as possible. He did have surgery Monday, so they'll know pretty quick what that timetable is going to look like, even though Signetic's kind of keeping that close to the vest right now.
Yeah, just to jump on that one more, he was sixth currently in the Heisman voting, which is huge for anybody that knows Indiana football, and 91.8 QBR, second in the country, only behind the guy you talked about earlier in Cam Ward. So huge,
Can I say
huge impact.
something else?
Yeah, go ahead.
I forgot to mention.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's honestly the best offense Indiana has seen since Peyton or Luck was the quarterback. So, Indiana, they haven't seen a real offense in a while. So that's gotta be exciting for the fans.
Yeah.
Nice little jab there at Jordan. I like it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So moving on. So Coach Cignetti, dude is he just does nothing but win. Won at James Madison. Now he's really taken college football by storm for Indiana. Jordan, what's the future with the program? What does Indiana got to do to keep him?
I've seen
I don't think Indiana can keep him. I mean, let's just face it.
Yeah, it's probably.
You know, if you look back at his head coaching tenure, he started at Indiana University of Pennsylvania in D2. He went 53-17 in 6 years. Went to Elon 14-9 in 2 years. I mean, the guy has won at every stop. 52-9 at James Madison in 5 years. Three conference titles at Division II. He was part of the transfer that brought James Madison to Division I. And all he did was win the division both years in the Sun Belt. Did not get to play in a championship game because the NCAA is crap. But I don't think he lasts long in Indiana. I mean, if the guy keeps winning what he's doing, there's programs that need a guy that can win.
Yeah.
Top of my head, Florida, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Florida State, or some of the big names that should take a shot on a guy like Cignetti. Will they?
Yeah.
Probably not, but they really should be looking. And then personally, I hope the first two do not. Well, the first three. I mean,
yeah, he's a
our
winner.
state have at it.
Yeah, he's a winner. A nod. He coached with both Saban and Kirby Smart at Alabama from 2007 to 2010. So he has a national title. He knows what good coaches look like. He's been around them. He is one. The only thing I wrote down on this, because I knew Jordan would take the cake on it, was I said, IU better try to sell all the car washes and cookies they can, because it's going to take a big bankroll to keep this guy in the house, and I just don't think they've got the money to do it. So
No, they don't.
somebody's going to scoop him up, especially with all the teams that are struggling this year. So that's a good first topic. Next topic, I think, is the one that we all were waiting on. We want to talk about, and that's SEC officiating. So, Jordan, has it ever been this bad in your recollection?
No, it has not. I mean, Saturday, Tennessee, Alabama crew almost lost control of that game. Obviously, we all know about the Texas Georgia situation. They did lose control of that game, and I know Jeff will touch on that later. But I mean, I've never seen officials in this league just seem to have a lack of control of the game. I mean, it's the Ole Miss LSU game, a lot of flags. I mean, granted, LSU's not that undisciplined. The Tennessee, Alabama, I kind of go back and look at that. We thought there was a lot of flags, and there probably were some ticky-tacky ones. Yeah. And there were some missed both ways.
Yeah, both ways, yeah.
But at the same time, I look, and both those teams rank in the bottom of the SEC as far as penalty yards, per game.
Yeah.
So some of that's just, some undiscipline. But, I mean, as far as, like the incident in Austin, that, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah. So, Riddle, before I throw this to you, I want to read an article about the incident from this weekend, because I really want to hear you at being the Georgia fan and being there. So I'm going to read what the SEC said. With 3:12 to play in the third quarter of the Georgia-Texas game, Texas intercepted a pass at the Texas 46-yard line, returned to the Texas 9-yard line. Texas was flagged for committing defensive pass interference on the play, which resulted in Georgia maintaining the ball with a first down. This is a direct quote. The game officials gathered to discuss the play, which is permitted to ensure the proper penalty is enforced, at which time the calling officials reported that he erred and had a foul, should not have been called for the defensive pass interference. Consequently, Texas was awarded the ball at the Texas 9-yard line, while the original evaluation and assessment of the penalty was not properly executed. It is unacceptable to have debris thrown on the field at any time. The disruption of the game due to debris being thrown on the field will be reviewed by the conference office related to the SEC sportsmanship policies and procedures. That was a lot. I'm sorry. Riddle. What the hell, man? You watched it live, so
Well, just
we all did.
the first you talk about, the standard procedures of a referee in football is they throw the flag, then they confer to make sure they got the call correct, and they did that. And then they announced the call, and that was what it was. Never in the history, in my lifetime, have, after the call has already been made, the ball has been spotted and everything else, have referees went back together and been like, yeah, we screwed that one up. We need to change that. If that's the case, Armando Galarraga should have a perfect game. Jabbar Gaffney should have never caught that ball in Knoxville. I mean, you can go back through history where there were missed calls, and because it was called that way, it stood that way. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is that the delay that happened allowed those referees to watch the Jumbotron, see that they missed that call, and then they made a mistake by going back and changing that.
Yeah.
Now,
Absolutely.
I will say this. As a Georgia fan, it was a bad call. But it doesn't change the fact that once that call is made, it has to stand. I mean, I'm about to read a quote from Kirby about the precedent that stands, and it's not just for college football. It's sports everywhere. I mean, these are paid officials at a top tier in their job, and they were like, oh, yeah, we screwed up. We need to go back. You don't think Jim Joyce wanted to go back immediately and change the call he made that cost the guy a perfect game? That dude was devastated by that. I don't know if you've seen the 30 for 30 on it, but it's fantastic. Yeah. That guy was crushed.
Yeah.
You can't make a call and then sit there and go back and change it after the fact. And the debris on the field and the delay in the game is what caused that to happen. Mm-hmm. Kirby came out after the game and, he was asked about it, and obviously he's limited by what he can say. And he said, I won't comment because I want to respect the wishes of the SEC office. I will say now we have a precedent that if you throw a bunch of stuff on the field and endanger athletes, that you've got a good chance to get your call reversed. And that's unfortunate because to me, that's dangerous. And I don't think he just means that's dangerous for the kids and the coaches and everybody else on the field. I think he means as in sports as a whole, that's a dangerous thing to do because we've never seen it.
He can mean both.
Yeah, and Joel Klatt came out and said on his podcast, he played quarterback at Colorado, and he said he was just in disbelief that he'd never seen anything like it. You rewarded the kid having a fit in the candy aisle.
Yeah.
Yep. He's not wrong.
Yeah, that's the first thing I've ever heard him say that was right. But I agree with him. And Riddle, I think you hit it spot on. Like Kirby hit it spot on too. We set a bad precedent, and let's be clear. We are trying to protect the players because they could throw a lot of other things besides water bottles, and they could storm the field. They could do a lot of different things that could really get people hurt. And at the same time, like you said, Riddle, we are setting a bad precedent that, we may not be able to recover from. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. But Tony, go ahead. Sorry, I thought I heard somebody.
This is college football. This is not, Colombian soccer. We don't riot because we didn't get the right call. The yellow card. I mean,
it's Bolivian soccer.
There's, Bolivian soccer, South American, European, whatever. I mean, we don't have hooligans, here. We respect the game for what it is and understand that bad calls are part of it.
Yeah, yeah. Take the wins with the losses. They miss calls all the time. They get calls all the time. But we are going to get to the deeper end of this, Tony, because I want to know. What's the next steps for officiating to take that step at getting better? College football. Forget NFL, college football.
Oh, yeah, I'm not even thinking about college football. Yeah. I mean, obviously, college football officiating has been bad across the board, not just this year or this past weekend. It's been an issue for a long time now. It just didn't start happening like just past weekend. Like Jabbar Gaffney catch September 16th, 2020. Mm-hmm. That was not a catch. So, that was a horrendous call. And we still didn't throw trash on the field then. Now, that happened later. Yeah. About 20 plus years down the road. But
Yeah.
that wasn't a call. That was for fake.
that was the injury part.
That was a totally different issue.
But
Yeah.
But still, it didn't help us overturn anything. Saying, hey, Ole Miss, that clock's, everything's got to keep flowing. He's just got to, either play hurt, lay on the ground. Tennessee's got to run the play. So they didn't let him do that.
Yeah.
They did it all damn game. But what exactly do we expect to happen? I honestly don't know if anything's ever going to happen. I mean, what? Yeah, official. I know they don't have a union. The referees, there's not a union in college football like the pros. But, can it be fired or fined? That's probably never going to happen. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen. I said, as fans, I mean, all we can hope for, honestly, these refs just need to learn the rules, be focused, and stand their damn ground, and not overturn calls because trash is thrown on the field.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Hey, just own it. Own up to it.
Yeah.
Hey, you sucked. I mean, they suck on a normal basis anyways. And I don't think there's really much that can be done. I mean, they can't do anything mid-game. Bad call's a bad call. What, we going to put more reviews, more challenges and stuff in the game? Hell, the NFL tried that too with the pass interference, and that thing's just gone away. Yeah. They don't even do that anymore. So there's really nothing I don't think that could be done besides maybe replacing refs at end season or fining, whatever. But you'll never see refs get fined, if anything, replaced. But hell, hopefully these refs will start, just like I said, pretty much as a ump or ref or whatever in any sport, you just got to stand your ground and just take the call as is. That's what you made, and that's how it should go.
Yeah.
So
I got two thoughts on this. So Riddle, obviously this will come back to you, but why was there not a penalty, delay a game, unsportsmanlike, something for throwing all the crap on the field? I understand you get a $250,000 fine. The fans don't give a damn about that.
No,
they had a 30-yard penalty that took them out of damn field goal range or whatever. I don't know what the answer is. They think twice about doing that and screwing their team. I don't know. That's nothing we've ever done before, and I'm trying to make it better, but I don't really know. I thought it was a delay of game when you did that because obviously they had to go clean it all up, but obviously I was wrong. And the other thing is I did write down, like you said, Tony, the reviewable calls like the NFL, but we have technology that, we're watching it live and we can see things happen. And I don't know, we have technology. We can review everything. I saw the ACC has their replay officials are in a booth. They're not even on the field. They're in a booth watching like multiple screens and camera angles, and they report down to the ref who gets the call. I don't know. I just feel like there's a way to do this better than what we're doing. The other thing is, can we have a grading system where someone goes back? I'm not asking you to do anything discipline-wise, but have a transparent system to say, this is the refs, the calls they got, this is the calls they got wrong, and just put that out for fans so they know, that we're actually looking at that and we're trying to make it better. I'm not saying hold them accountable. I'm not trying to do that because this is their job, and like you said, they got to stand their ground. But is it possible to see how well they're doing and then say, hey, what do we need to do to get you up to here? I don't know.
MLB does that,
Yeah.
There's report cards on
report cards.
Great example. Great example. I'm glad I got baseball guys.
There's a great account on X that that Jeff and Tony and myself used to enjoy sending back and forth after Angel Hernandez's nights behind the dish. So flat comedy. They break down what calls each umpire missed behind the plate and even how much that affected the game.
See, and so it's already a precedent somewhere. We just got to somehow adopt this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I consider the SEC to be the trendsetters of college football, and I would like to see us be the first ones to take the step in making officiating better. I don't know. That's my thought.
The UFL, you're talking about a challenge, more challenges. Tony, you kind of spoke on it. The UFL has what they call a super challenge, and it's where a coach can come out and super challenge any call that is made during the game. But you can only do it once. So if you thought it was holding and it wasn't called, you can super challenge it. And it's not a terrible idea. But the reason that this has been magnified is, like I said earlier, there's no point in history you can go back and look and be like, oh, they made that call. Yeah, it was a terrible call. But then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, they're like, "Oh yeah, my bad. There was no pass interference. Just kidding."
Pick up the flag.
Texas ball. That was a huge point in that game.
Yeah.
Texas ended up scoring a touchdown, getting back within 7 points. It was a one possession game at that point. So it's a big deal. And like Kirby said, like this sets a really, really bad precedent.
Okay. All right. So we're now at the segment where these guys have no preparation whatsoever. This is our hot take. So what I wanted to talk about, I threw it out last week about Ryan Day. And we're going to go across the country now and discuss Lincoln Riley at USC. USC is 3-4. They blew a big lead against Maryland, a team that hasn't won in the Big Ten since November of last year. They've got Rutgers, Washington, Nebraska, UCLA, and Notre Dame left. Has Riley's magic faded? Are they done? What's wrong with USC? We're going to start with Tony.
It's like Kendrick Lamar. He's faded. You know,
He's faded.
it's just like
There it is, folks.
it's just faded.
Yeah.
Sit down, faded. Wake up, faded. But that magic, I was never crazy about him at Oklahoma. He would have been better off staying at Oklahoma. He probably would have had it made at Oklahoma, even if he didn't win a title for years.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's more embarrassing for him because he goes out to USC, and what are they packed? No, are they packed still?
They're Big Ten.
They're Big Ten. They're Big Ten.
Whatever the hell they are. Yeah, Big Ten, whatever. And you can't even win in that conference.
Yeah.
It sounds like, he's getting some recruits.
Mm-hmm.
So it boils down to coaching. Maybe he's just over his head a little bit, and he's not as good as what he thought he was. It's almost like not as bad because, when Lane Kiffin left Tennessee, thought going to USC, he would further his name, make a stamp for himself there. It's not working out too good. Everything's similar to that scenario where he hasn't even had a good season yet. Well, besides last year wasn't even that good because expectations last year for him was sky high with Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Didn't win shit.
Nah.
And now it's just gotten worse. You're struggling against teams you're supposed to beat, and hell, and then there's teams that don't have a chance, and you sit there until the end, you still blow it. Pastures aren't always greener, He should have stayed in Oklahoma. He's not that good anyway. I never liked him. Never liked him in Oklahoma. I thought he was overrated anyways. So USC got what they deserved, and so did Lincoln Riley.
All right. Riddle?
USC's lost 4 games by 14 points. They've been really close. The Michigan loss looks worse by the week because we've seen what Michigan has become, and it was at Michigan. The Maryland loss, unacceptable. The Minnesota loss, unacceptable. You expect a school like USC to win those games. I'm not big on a coach coming in and then you giving him 2 or 3 years, and if you're not where you think you should be, firing him. They've got some closing issues. They've been up, I think, in all of those games and then gave it up late. And I don't know what you need to do to fix that because for 3 quarters things are going good and then all of a sudden they're not. I don't know if that's a conditioning issue. I don't know if that's a coaching issue, not having the right personnel on the field in big moments in the game. This is only his 3rd year. He's still got guys there that were brought in probably from the previous regime. So I'm not coming out and saying that he just needs to be fired and let go. But I will say this. He's always been an offensive-minded coach, and everywhere he's been has really struggled on defense, and he really needs to focus on that because you have to be able to stop people at some point. So I hate it for USC. One of my best friends is a big USC fan, and I know he's frustrated with it because you can't say they don't have the talent out there. So
I agree.
Is it a coaching issue?
All right, Jordan. Jordan, what do you think?
Well, let's face it. USC is not, it's a premier gig, but it's not an easy gig.
Yeah.
You're a private school right in the middle of Los Angeles. Right now, at this moment, you've got the Dodgers in the World Series. You've got LeBron and Bronny and that entire, circus going on with the Lakers. There's a lot of things going on besides college football.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like,
It's
cities
LA.
like, it's like Miami. I mean, another Hurricanes are winning, so it's a hot ticket. Let them drop 2 games and you can get in for $7. I mean, it's one of those cities. There's always so much happening that it doesn't have that, that diehard football base.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
So
if they're
many
big,
distractions.
do what?
I said so many distractions.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
And I mean, USC's those programs. It's either when it's good, it's really good, and when it's not, you wonder will it ever be good again.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate that. That was the hot take of the week. We're going to go into the marquee matchups now, and we're going to start with everyone's favorite game this week. If it's not, then you don't have a heart. And so that's Notre Dame at Navy at the MetLife Stadium, and we're going to start with Riddle. Break it down. Give us your information.
I'm a stat guy, and I always go back and I pull the stats. So, Notre Dame at Navy. I'm on the Navy bandwagon as a secondary bandwagon fan. I want to see Army and Navy do good. I say it every week we're on here, and so Notre Dame this year, they're 31st in the nation in points per game. Navy is actually 4th in the nation right now in points per game at 44.8. Notre Dame's only allowing 11.9 points per game. They're 5th in the nation right now. Both of these teams, their quarterback makes the offense go. And now I know that's cliche because most of the time that's the way it is, but there are teams that running backs, receivers, they got those big skill guys. This one is solely basically on Riley Leonard and Blake Horvath, in my opinion. Riley Leonard's 6 yards away from being the team's leading rusher. So, Navy's defense, they've got 15 sacks on the year, 16 passes deflected, 10 interceptions, 3 touchdowns, 10 forced fumbles, 4 fumble recoveries. Notre Dame's pretty similar, 18 sacks, 31 pass deflections, 9 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 8 fumbles forced, and 3 fumble recoveries. I think this is not going to be a game for sacks. You might get a lot of tackles for loss. I think there's going to be a lot of running the ball. Mm-hmm. My key players to watch that I picked out for this game, for Notre Dame, outside of Riley Leonard, it's all defense. You got Xavier Watts, the safety. He's got 26 tackles and a forced fumble on the year. He's got 3 interceptions, but again, I don't think he's going to have too many opportunities to get interceptions. And then the D-line guys, Riley Mills and Howard Cross III. Mills has 21 tackles and 3 sacks. Cross has 16 tackles and 4 sacks. And they're going to have to disrupt that triple option. You know what Navy's going to do. Everybody knows what Navy's going to do. And this year they ain't been able to stop them. They've had exceptional quarterback play. We've talked about it multiple times. For Navy, I'm throwing some love to the fullback. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but it's Alex Teka, or I think it's Teka, the Z silent. He's got 49 carries, 306 yards. He's averaging 6.2 yards per carries, and he has 7 TDs. So if they get in the red zone, look for him to pound it out. And then on defense, Justin Reed, the defensive end, he's got 24 tackles, 4 sacks, and a forced fumble for him. But the big guy to watch for them, because Riley Leonard is going to have to try to throw the ball in this game. Their cornerback, Deshaun Pill, has 19 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 passes deflected, 3 interceptions, and 2 defensive touchdowns on the year. So if he could have a big game, look for Navy to win this one, and I'm going with Navy in this one.
All right. Jordan, we're going to go to you next. Break it down. Give me what you got.
I mean, Navy plays service academies every year. I can't remember the name. There's a trophy for this game now. The last, 10, 15 years they've had it. Out of all the teams Navy has seen this year, this weekend, Notre Dame will be the defense that is athletic enough to cause them problems in their, what I like to call their spread triple option. I mean, it's wild and it's fun to watch. We all know Navy took the loss at home to Northern Illinois. A lot of people was hyping Northern Illinois. They've turned out to be, that loss is looking worse by the week. This line opened around 11. It's been pushed up to 13. And I understand why. I really want to see Navy win this ball game. I want to see I'm here for the chaos at the end of the season. That being said, I think Notre Dame finds a way to win this game, but they will not cover.
Okay. Sorry. That's my thing up here. I can't see. Tony, give me your picks.
All right. For this Notre Dame Navy, like they're saying, it's like feels like it's about as patriotic as it gets. I mean, it's Navy. It's America. I mean, who in their right mind can dislike Navy? I mean, unless you hate America, I get that. But I can see and understand dislike from Notre Dame. Always overrated. Always in the headlines when they stink. They always screw up your parlay. But anyways, the key to this game is, can Notre Dame play disciplined ball? You know, obviously Navy, they're going to run it. They will throw a few times though too. You know, in like years past, they will try to throw it. But can Notre Dame play disciplined ball and stop this midshipman? Can they slow them down at least? Or will Navy impose their will? Remains to be seen still. You know, here's I got a stat. Navy leads all college football touchdown percentage at a rate of 95.7% when they are in the red zone. So if they get to the red zone,
Yeah.
there's a good chance it's probably going to be a touchdown, regardless if it is Notre Dame. You know, I know they got some athletes defense side of the ball, but we don't really know what Navy has still at this very moment. I mean, they could. I know they're military men, but I mean, obviously there's some athletes. There's some athletes on this team.
Yeah.
You know, they don't beat themselves. They don't turn the ball over. And I also feel like they're being disrespected at home, being almost a 2-touchdown dog. That's ridiculous. And to me, yeah, this is the most interesting game this weekend because, you know, I want to see what they do. And I know I'm pretty sure Navy's going to take this personally. They still want to prove doubters wrong. Now, will they win? I don't know. I do think it's close. I know you're not supposed to go with your heart, but I'm gonna say Navy. I'm rowing Navy. I'm rowing Navy. I want to see them keep this undefeated streak alive. I know the chances are against them, all that crap, but I really want to see them beat Notre Dame.
In lieu of Jordan and all his glory, Navy earlier in the week was getting 78% of all bets. So I do think it's going to be a close game, closer than probably what Notre Dame wants it to be. I am going to side with Jordan. The reason why is they've played Bucknell, Temple, Memphis, UAB, Air Force, and Charlotte, and none of those schools are close to Notre Dame. And I think the Irish is too big on both sides of the ball, and I think the Irish just do it. It's close, but I do think Notre Dame at the end pulls away. So nothing against Navy. I just
Dude, if Navy wins this game, I'll be as ecstatic as anybody.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to be wrong. I'd be happy to be wrong. I would be happy to be wrong.
I love to eat crow Saturday night, but yeah, pretty tasty. Navy wins.
All right. Now we're getting to the most marquee matchup in Tony's world this weekend, and that is the Fighting Illini at Oregon. Tony, take it away.
Resident expert.
Yes.
Can't believe I'm talking about them, but Thanksgiving has come early because I'm thankful to be talking about Illinois again, back-to-back weeks. And I said I wasn't going to talk about them ever again. Here I am again.
They just keep winning, Tony. They just keep winning.
They keep winning, ugly or not. Yeah, they do keep winning. Win's a win. But anyways, this is actually the first meeting between these two teams in like 29 years. So there's literally no history there. We can't say that one's owned the other, kind of like how Florida always plays Cincy tough. Well, hell, we don't know shit about these two teams here. Just playing football, Illinois doesn't do anything particularly well. I said that same thing last week, and they don't. But there is one thing they do have. It's good play from the QB, which is Luke Altamaris. He doesn't turn the ball over, okay? He has a 15-1 TD, the INT ratio. It's his tops among any Power 4 passer in college football. You know, Illinois does take care of the ball. They have 3 wins in top 25, which is tied with Tennessee at that. You know, I'm going to go Oregon side here. Offense, it's been a tad better late. Still not what, you know, we're used to seeing over these last few years where they're just dropping 40 or 50 on your dome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give Illinois a little credit, though, here. If Illinois can keep Oregon's offense at bay, you know, don't let them come back alive like what we've seen the last few years, I do think Illinois does have a chance to win. But will they win? I don't think so. I think the 21.5 point spread favorite towards Oregon's a little nuts. That's just my opinion on that. I don't care if their name is Oregon. I know Illinois. Yeah, they had a kind of almost a letdown game against Purdue recently. But hell, I've seen teams come back and prepare, you know, better for the upcoming game. Maybe not win, but they look a lot better. I think. And Oregon's got to create. In order for Oregon to blow this game out of the water, they're going to have to force Illinois into turnovers. That's the only way. That's why this 21.5 point spread, I think it's a little ridiculous and disrespectful to Illinois, even though I said they don't do anything particularly well. Mm-hmm. They do take care of the football, though. That is one thing to do. But give me Oregon in a close one.
All right. Riddle.
Here we are talking about them again. But, you know, Oregon sitting at number 1. You know, Dylan Gabriel's completing 77% of his passes. You know, we talked about Rourke earlier being second in the Big Ten completion percentage. Gabriel's at the top. You know, he's very efficient. 2,080 yards on the year, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and he also has 4 rushing touchdowns. To me, I feel like Oregon's trending in the right direction outside of the Ohio State game, which, you know, was a big game. Those 4 other games, they've won by an average of 28 points. You know, they're trending the right direction. I know Jordan talked about how they had a very slow start at the beginning of the year, and they won ugly. But I feel like Illinois is just flirting with disaster. You know, they had the meltdown against Purdue, had to win in overtime 50-49. Then they their offense looked anemic and just not there against Penn State. They lost that one 21-7. They beat Nebraska in overtime 31-24. And then, you know, they had the win at Michigan, but we've seen that Michigan is bad. You know, that's not a good win per se. Yeah. The interesting thing, and me and Tony talked on it earlier in the pregame, is Illinois' defense could very well keep them in this game, and they're going to have to. I don't think that Oregon covers the spread in this one, but I do have Oregon winning it. The interesting thing for the Big Ten is this is the last ranked opponent either team is going to play for the rest of the year. So,
All right. Jordan, your thoughts?
The last chance to make a statement. I mean, man, it's Illinois team. They win, and it's ugly, but they win. But I mean, man, Friday night under the lights, Autzen was going to be rocking. I think Oregon is flirting with a cover on this game. Oregon's putting it all together. They're starting to, to find their stride at the right time of year, coming into November. I mean, if you're going to pick a time to get hot, that's the time to do it, especially, with the playoff the way it is now. I think Oregon wins this game. I think they'll flirt with a cover. I'm not sure they'll get there, but I think it's down to the last, drive or two to settle that aspect of it.
Okay. So I'm showing Illinois' offense is 92nd in the country. Defense is 49th. So they're a middle-of-the-road team. Oregon's probably just too much talent around on the skill positions. I think it's closer than 21 points like everyone else has said, and I got Oregon winning the game. So no fireworks from me on this one. All right, next game we've got is LSU at A&M. This is the primary game of the evening. This is going to be the big one for all the marbles in the SEC, or at least to give them the lead. We're going to start with Jordan, big red beard down there. That's what Kia's called you, old red beard. So we're going to start with you.
Texas A&M and LSU. Who would have thought back in August that this game would be for sole leadership in the
Never.
SEC.
Never.
Now, granted, I mean, it's not, who wins this game will have a big leg up in getting to Atlanta. But, I mean, whoever drops this game is going to join a whole list of teams sitting there with one loss. So, this race will be far from over. And I could very well see the winner of this game still not getting to Atlanta. LSU has a middle-of-the-pack rush defense in conference. They're the second worst pass defense in the conference. Only Mississippi State is giving up more yards through the air. The good thing is Texas A&M has Connor Wigman. I mean, he's not in position to take care of any defense outside of what was it? He had the big game against Alabama last year, kind of out of nowhere, like really unexpected, out of characteristic game for him. So I don't see him able to exploit this weak LSU secondary. LSU loves to throw the ball. Second best passing game in the conference behind Ole Miss. And they don't like to run. They're one of 4 teams in the SEC that has yet to rush for 1,000 yards. Oklahoma, Mississippi State, and Georgia being the other 3. A&M is the middle of the pack passing defense. Yet they're leading the conference in completion percentage allowed at 54.3. So I mean they're trying to hang tough in the pass game. They are the second A&M second leading conference rushing team at 218.57 yards a game, and they're, like I said, with Connor Wegman, they're pitiful in the pass, 186.1 yards a game. Honestly, every metric you look at for this game goes back and forth. You can make a case for either team in this one. Personally, I think the difference is going to be LSU's ability to keep Nussmeier clean. LSU's give up 2 sacks on the year. I think he'll throw the ball enough. And it's wild to me, this particular stat. Time of possession, LSU is at 32 minutes and 3 seconds a game. Basically non-existent running the ball, yet they still have, a good time of possession. Mm-hmm. The home team has won this game the last 7 matchups. That ends Saturday. LSU comes out of College Station with a win. Nussmeier in the offense. I think their rush defense does just enough. They walk out with a win.
All right, Tony, balls to you.
Well, A&M, obviously we know they can run the ball, 12th best in the nation, led by Le'Veon Moss. But, A&M ranks around the bottom SEC in passing. They're not even very efficient when they do pass. That's why they rely so heavily on the run game. Pretty much the Tigers, LSU, they're very good at scoring in the red zone, but the problem would be getting there. A&M has the ability to limit the number of red zone trips, but if for some reason they don't, there's an issue with that because A&M also has an issue at stopping teams from scoring when getting in the red zone. They literally don't create any turnovers when teams do get in the red zone. Opponents have scored 14 of their last 16 trips inside the red zone. A&M, A&M must establish this run game. They got to control this game. They got to play this game how they want to play it and not let LSU dictate it how they want to play it. Like Jordan said, LSU, they don't give 2 shits about run the ball. They're going to try to throw it. So obviously A&M, they're going to have to limit the possessions that LSU does get. If they run the ball efficiently like they have, that's probably going to happen. Now LSU can help the Aggies out by playing undisciplined ball as well. Seeing that crap last week. Well, they have they had 11 penalties against Arkansas. Fortunately for them, that was Arkansas. If it was any other team that could, make them pay, because we all know Arkansas's offense is not very good, then that's probably that could have been a loss. Now, I wouldn't expect them to get away with penalties like that against A&M, preventing them, keeping them from winning that game, because if they commit all those penalties against A&M, they're not going to win this game. College Station's going to be rocking. Louder than it is in Arkansas. So obviously they're going to have to clean it up, and they're going to have to load that damn box. They'll have to load that box. LSU is going to have to sell out for that run game pretty much, because if they don't stop that run game, then it's going to be a long night for them. The passing game is not going to matter because the defense can relax at that point, and they've been pretty good up until they do get in the red zone. So I'm still going to take A&M here.
All right.
And it's going to end LSU's little run they got going on.
All right. Riddle, you're up.
Well, A&M does like to run the ball. You touched on Le'Veon Moss. He's got 105 carries, 674 yards, 8 touchdowns. But LSU, like Jordan said, they air it out. And Kyron Lacey and Aaron Anderson are putting together some pretty good years. Kyron Lacey a little more so. He's got 36 receptions for 512 yards and 6 touchdowns. The thing that stands out for me is both of these teams have only played 2 ranked opponents to this point. And, you know, their best wins was LSU's overtime win at Ole Miss, and A&M's was the 41-10 shellacking of Missouri. But then their losses was both in the opener. You know, so they've
Been a while.
it's the first game of the year. You know, LSU lost to USC, which definitely don't look like a good loss now. And then A&M lost to Notre Dame, who turned around the next week and lost. So, you know, I still think the jury's still out on Notre Dame a little bit. I've got LSU winning this one. I think that A&M can win. I don't think Wegman's the answer. I think Marcel Reed, the kid that filled in while he was hurt, he's putting up numbers. He's 43 of 79, 585, 6 touchdowns, no picks, 43 carries, 226 yards, and 2 touchdowns running too. He gives them that option. But I expect to see him in the game at some point in this one. But I'm taking LSU in this one.
All right. So I liked all the stats. Yeah.
Quick score update. I know it's Wednesday night. Kennesaw State has just kicked a field goal with 4 minutes to play to take a 27-17 lead over Liberty as 27-point dogs.
Trash.
Oh,
Wow.
Lord. So
what about MT? Let me check the MTSU score. Oh, they're getting blown out.
okay. No surprises. No surprises. So I do agree with everything y'all said. A lot of good stats. Jordan, I definitely like the sacks allowed from LSU. 2 all year is something to be admired. Texas A&M's only allowed 7, so it's not like they're that far off. And I agree with y'all. If they had anybody but Connor Wegman, I would pick Texas A&M in that running game.
Anybody.
And them being at home, I would pick them in every day. They have a good defense. I mean, serviceable defense. They got a good offense as far as the rush game. They just don't have a passing attack. And LSU, while they may be pedestrian against the run in the SEC, they're only giving up a handful of yards for rush defense. It's 33rd in the nation at 114.9. I just don't see they're getting better every game. So Nussmeier is good. I think he's slept on as a quarterback in this conference in terms of, like, we've got a lot of big names at the top. But I mean, he's honestly playing his butt off down there. So I'm going to pick LSU to go into College Station and get the dub. So what are you laughing about?
I support that.
This cup over blending into his green
Oh
screen.
yeah.
Jordan, just to make sure, you did pick LSU in this one, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So we okay. So with that said, hey man, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go to our top 25 picks for the week, and we're gonna let Riddle give us a quick update on the stats and where we stand.
All right. First off, I think we're all doing pretty damn good on these picks so far to this point.
I'd say so.
Last week, Tony went 13-4. I went 16-1. Brandon, you went 17-0. Jordan, you went 14-3. Chris went 13-4. Overall, I'm 32-2. Brandon's 30-4. Tony's 27-7. Jordan's 26-8, and then Chris is 26-7. So,
okay. All right. Well, I appreciate the keeping up with that, Riddle. So, guys, we're going to go down the list, lightning round, go through these top 25. Give me your one-liners, give me your picks, and then, like I said, I'll go last, and I'll give you Chris's with mine. So With that said, Tony, who wins the Syracuse at Pitt?
I'm going to take Pitt. I mean, really nothing special between either team. Pitt's home. I don't really have another reason.
Okay.
I didn't feel like bothering looking at anything for that game because they're both disappointing, really. So.
Riddle.
I actually went back and forth on this game quite a bit, and the determining factor for me was the fact that Pitt is going to be at home. If it was up there in Syracuse in the Dome, I probably would have went with them. But I've got Pittsburgh in this one.
All right. Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, this is a sneaky Syracuse team. I mean, as evidenced by Pittsburgh, only laying 6.5. That said, I am going Pittsburgh, though. In Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So Tony's up there saying this game means nothing. It's 6-1 Syracuse at undefeated Pitt. I mean, this game is all the excitement you could want. I'm going with the fighting Kyle McCords, and I'm going to go with the Syracuse Orangemen for the upset. And Chris has got Pittsburgh, so I'm the lone wolf hanging out there. All right, Tony.
You're not going undefeated this week.
You're probably right. Here's another controversial one. LV.
9:30 p.m. game. Give me UNLV. Look for defensive rally and slow down Genty a little bit here. I'm going UNLV.
All right.
Their run defense actually hasn't been terrible. They hold running backs at bay. I know we talk about how he's so special, but eventually there's going to be a game where he slips up and Boise State loses. So
yeah,
let it be this.
You never know when this might be their Super Bowl. So Riddle.
I've got UNLV in this one.
It's another.
No, UNLV's only loss was a 3-point overtime loss to Syracuse, who we just talked about. In a game that they could have very easily won. But, I think if you stop Genty and you make that quarterback beat you, we don't know if he can yet. He hasn't had to.
Yeah.
So, and UNLV's got a good team, and this is for the tops in the conference, this one.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to take UNLV.
Jordan.
Oh, man, it's going to be a shootout in Vegas. This UNLV team, honestly, been 6-1 is really impressive. Had a quarterback quit, 3 games into the year for NIL.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, the guys coming behind him, Williams is 62 for 88, 838 yards, 10 touchdowns, 2 picks. I mean, he's doing all you can want him to do. That being said, I am going Boise State. Genty is having, on a record-breaking tear right now. If they key in on him, Madsen for Boise is 102 for 160, 1,273 yards, 12 touchdowns, 2 picks. I feel like he can distribute the ball to playmakers. Yeah. Give me Boise staying on that shot for to get in the playoff.
Okay. So Chris has Boise as well, so you're not alone there. I've got the UNLV. I just looked at the schedules. I looked at the resumes. Boise can play really good defense. They actually get after the quarterback really well. It just seems like UNLV, man, all the drama early on in the season, and then somehow they just keep winning. So UNLV for me.
The Williams kid that Jordan touched on is also the team's leading rusher too. So even though they can get after the quarterback, he can get away too.
Yeah. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, he's going to present a lot of problems to that defense.
Yeah.
We actually got some good games this week early. So, all right. So, Tony, Nebraska at the Ohio State University.
Early morning game here. Hopefully Nebraska eats because I have a feeling this is going to be another embarrassing game for Riella and the crew. I hate for them to lose an upset stomach, but Ohio State should be out for blood this one. Yeah. Ohio State's probably going to destroy them. Nebraska's not a very good team, regardless of what their record says. Give me Ohio State.
All right, Riddle, you're up.
Yeah, I made the mistake of picking Nebraska last week. I will not make that mistake again. I think Ohio State. Yeah, I think Ohio State beats them pretty handily, and the fake Patrick Mahomes is going to have a long day.
Yeah. Jordan.
I mean, Patty, who's your daddy? It's going to be Will Howard this week. He's going to probably have a career day. Give me Blow Ohio State.
Yeah. Yeah, give me the damn Buckeyes. Give Chris the Buckeyes. I mean, that's the most uneventful game I think we're going to talk about. All right, so we've all touched on the Notre Dame at Navy. Just going through here and trying to find Chris said give him Navy. He said fuck them Golden Donors. I was going to say something else, but anyway, give him Navy, and he's all in. So
Notre Dame's prone to the upset.
hey, they are. They've already got upset once this year. I mean, hell.
Twice.
Yes, they have.
So I got a question. So is Northern Illinois beating Notre Dame worse than Vandy beating Bama?
That's
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I mean, it's
I think I would have to say yes because
yeah.
Vandy is still an SEC school. You got to be smart to go there. They're still going to have talented guys there.
Respect.
So
Thank you. You kept my ego with a little bit of confidence.
They're a top 25 team this week.
Oh, dude, they're playing good ball. They're playing good ball.
Northern Illinois, everybody was like, oh, they may have a shot at the playoffs, beat Notre Dame, and they've been getting worked in the MAC. I mean, like Buffalo slapped them around 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Buffalo's not very good either.
Outside of Army and Navy, the next game that we have up is America's third team, and that's that's Washington at the IU Indiana University. Tony, who you got?
I already know. We know Rourke's out. But I believe Indiana still has enough to win without him. Both sides of the ball. So hell, even look up for the backup, Tavion Jackson. They played well last week after Rourke had to go out, and Rourke missed over half the game. So I think they're going to keep this ship sailing for the Hoosiers and remain undefeated.
All right, Riddle.
yeah, I'm just need to publicly apologize to Indiana for picking Nebraska again last week.
Yeah,
and there's no way I could pick a team that lost 40-16 to Iowa. So yeah, it's going to be the Hoosiers for me.
You finally Googled who Signetti was, didn't you?
Me?
You found out that he won.
Jordan, what you got, buddy?
That's all he does is win.
I mean, it's Indiana. This Washington team is not good. I mean, like Brandon Walker said today, Kalen DeBoer has completely dismantled everything Nick Saban built in 7 games, and that's pretty impressive. But he also knew when to get out of town. This Washington team is not good. What talent they did have is left. Give me Indiana.
All right. Well, Chris has got Indiana, and I got Indiana, and I got a feeling these next couple of games are going to be all right. So, Tony, OU at Ole Miss.
OU's in shambles right now. Venables has no idea what he's doing right now. The offense is a mess. Defense is suffering because of it. I think it's pretty easy to say Ole Miss is probably going to beat the brakes off of Oklahoma this weekend. So give me Ole Miss. Old piss.
Old piss. Riddle.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss is going to handle this game. Oklahoma, like Tony said, their offense, there's a lot of question marks. The fact that they're 4-3 right now overall is, kudos to them for even being there. They have the potential to be bowl eligible, but welcome to the SEC. It's not as easy as everybody thinks it is, but yeah, Ole Miss big.
Okay. Right. Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, Ole Miss is going to roll this game. Oklahoma's got a good defense, but I mean, I've lived through this. When your offense is horrible, I don't care how good your defense is, they're going to get gassed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel you.
Ole Miss.
I feel
Ole
you,
Miss
brother.
big.
I feel you, brother. So I'm going to go. Chris has got Ole Miss, and I'm going Ole Miss. I got a feeling OU is going to play the game of its lifetime when Alabama goes up there, but until then, they'll be shitty.
I will say this real quick: if Ole Miss loses this game, I'm jumping on Joey Freshwater to Florida, wherever. Oh, he can go wherever after this.
Oh yeah,
they won't want there no more if they lose this game.
And they're stupid because they've forgotten how bad they were They have really
for
forgotten
sure.
how bad they were
sure.
before he got there. All right. Okay. So we already picked Illinois, Oregon, but Chris obviously picked Oregon. That's uneventful. So here's where it gets exciting. I want to know what you guys think about BYU at Central Florida. Tony.
I still think I'm going to roll with BYU. I think this would be a closer game. I know UCF. Last I seen, they were actually favored, which is kind of wild. I know they played better ball here last handful of weeks. They did have a bad loss in there, but Florida, UCF, they've been competitive, but I think they'll still fall short. I'm going to roll BYU too.
All right. Riddle.
Yeah, UCF is actually still the favorite in this game, and it's up to 2 is the line on it now.
Yeah,
and I don't know if there's something there that I'm missing or something that I don't know. I'll leave that for Jordan down there. But UCF has played better, but they've still lost 4 in a row. They got blown out by Colorado. They lost to Florida in the Swamp. They lost to Cincinnati, and then they did have Iowa State on the ropes, but they ended up losing. And BYU has not lost, and they did need some Provo magic last week, but I'm definitely going with BYU.
Jordan, what you got, bud?
Right now, I got a score update.
All right.
Liberty has come back, make this a 3-point game, 46 seconds left. Kennesaw is 4-1 on the Liberty 35.
Oh, Lord.
They're held to a field goal. There could be some fireworks happening here in Georgia.
Oh, my gosh.
As far as this Central Florida, there is something about this game that just absolutely stinks. And honestly, I'm not sure what it is. I mean, I'm starting to see some threes pop up, like at Pinnacle, Florida. I don't know why. I mean, BYU is off next week. Central Florida's hosting Arizona. Other than the fact of it being a 2:30 game on the East Coast, maybe there's some travel issue on that. I mean, last time we saw BYU travel this far east, they got thumped by Coastal Carolina, but they took that game on, 3 days' notice?
Yeah.
So that was a totally different situation. All that said, man, give me Central Florida in Orlando.
Ooh. All right. That's a good pick. So Jordan's going with the money. Smart bet right there. Smart bet. Chris has got BYU, and I'm just going to say this. The Storm and Mormons do 2 things well. That's make love and play football. And bottom line is they're going to go out here and they're going to handle Central Florida. I got BYU. So,
Jordan, you took UCF.
Yes.
he's that lone wolf out there. He's following that money.
The reason I missed that is because I believe Kennesaw State just went for it on 4th down and did not get it.
Ooh, so they're only up 3.
Yep.
That's
and
my
Liberty
God.
has the ball.
Oh,
Well,
right.
wait, how much time? Because Liberty, I don't think Liberty had any time. No, never mind. 4th down. Clock stops.
It says 6 seconds is all that's left on the clock,
Right.
and they're on their own 35.
Well, they're kicking a field goal
Okay.
then. All right. All right. This is the next game. Missouri at Bama. It's a ranked game. Feels like a flaccid penis for me, but Tony, go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say what I've been saying. Missouri's ass for a ranked team, and no one's going to change my mind about it. I don't care. They had their little season last year, and good for them because it's going to be another. I don't care. You're not going to convince me. They're going on one of those another long droughts, just being mediocre or just bad football team. Now we'll put at Alabama, win by multiple touchdowns. I hope so. For your sake, for fans' sake.
Oh my God. I wouldn't know what to think.
Yeah, I mean it needs to happen. I think this is the game to do it. I mean, like I said, Missouri, they haven't been good, and I know we talk about Mill Road being bad. I mean, this is the game for Bama to get right somewhat. I mean, it's Missouri. They're not good. Don't care what the ranking says, 21. And I can't bear to hear another week of bad officiating excuses. So give me Bama.
Oh man. We have not said on this podcast that officiating won the game, so don't try that crap.
No, it was in text though.
So anyway, Riddle.
Nate Noel being out for Missouri this week. That's their leading rusher. I don't think they have enough in this one. I don't care. I know we've picked apart Alabama, but I'm still picking Alabama in this one.
All right, Jordan.
This game thoroughly pisses me off. This was one of the 3 solid gold locks of the week. At 6:30 tonight, you could still find Alabama at 14. Now it's up to 16 and a half. So I can't in good conscience give that out knowing that line's gone at time of live. So I'll have to change that. But I am rolling Alabama. This feels like a get-right game for Alabama, especially with Missouri having that number 21 tagged out there. It'll give, maybe Alabama a little more boost. I think they win this pretty convincingly.
All right. Well, Chris has got Alabama, and I'll say this: it's a home game. Maybe they've got Cialis in the locker room they can give to somebody. And maybe I think they find a way to win. I'll just say this: we have to be very careful of Luther Burden and all those guys on the outside because our pass defense is atrocious. So, but I'm going to go with Bama. All right, now a real game. We got a real game here. Texas at Vanderbilt. Tony, what do you got?
I don't know why I have both circled like I picked both to win.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah. But I honestly think, I know Vandy's been playing good, but I think the ride's over for Vandy this week, and they might win the next game after. But look for the Longhorns to kick the Candy Vandy asses. Let's go.
Candy Vandy. All right, Riddle, who you got?
I mean, Vandy is ranked for the first time since the last rankings of 2013, and they're ranked for the first time in the regular season since 2008. It's been a while, and it's well deserved, I think. But this isn't Alabama's defense they're playing this week, and I think the party will not be going on Broadway Saturday night. I've got Texas in this one.
All right, Jordan, what do you got, buddy? Oh shit! What's that mean? What are you doing there?
I'd hate it, but I've got to pick Texas win this game. But I still just anytime.
Are you still doing it?
Honestly, I think this game could stay inside the number.
I could see that.
I'm not sure Vanderbilt has had a turnover this year. Pavia is taking care of the ball. He's doing a very good job. I know he hasn't thrown any picks.
Yeah.
Vandy could really slow this down and muck this game up and, not let that Texas offense find any sort of a rhythm, at least not early, and then, of course, the garbage time touchdown late. I like this Pavia kid, but it's just Texas, just too much.
Okay. All right. Well, me and Chris both have Texas. Just too much, like you said. We just both agree. All right, Tony, FSU at Miami. Who you got, brother?
LOL.
Yeah. That pretty much should be all we have to say.
Florida State sucks. Rivalry nut. Miami. They're taking the cake and blow Seminole win. But go Miami. Go Miami.
All right, Riddle.
I think this game opened at 21.5, favoring Miami. It's sitting at 21 from what I see right here. If I was a betting man, I would throw all kinds of money on that because Florida State is in shambles. And this is a rivalry game that has a lot of history. And if Miami can, they are going to beat the crap out of them. I've got Miami really big in this one.
Jordan.
This is a bad Florida State team. But leave it to rivalries to bring out the best, even in the worst. With that being said, after Saturday, it's going to be Norvell with 7 L's. Miami, big.
Yeah. All right. So Chris has Miami. I have Miami. The only exciting thing that could possibly happen for Florida State is if that Seminole guy ran out there and just speared the Miami mascot. That's really the only excitement that they could possibly generate because Florida State's atrocious, like you guys all have mentioned. So, all right, moving on to a game that we talked about this in the pregame, a game that really intrigued me. The line, not the game, but the line itself intrigued me. Penn State at Wisconsin, Tony.
Yeah, man. Tyler Warren, he's gonna wheel his he's gonna put Penn State, that overrated ass team, on his back, and he's gonna pull them back out. And I think it's gonna be a tough one at Camp Randall, but I'm gonna take Penn State. Tyler Warren, he's a hell of a tight end. As long as they keep going to him, I don't think anybody in that conference is gonna stop him. So,
yeah, I agree with that.
Throw the ball to him.
Riddle.
It is interesting that the line is so small, but I mean, Wisconsin is 5-2, 3-1 in the conference. It's looking like there's a chance of rain as well. Could very well be a dogfight, low scoring game there. But I have Penn State in this one.
Jordan.
Penn State. Penn State does enough to escape Camp Randall with a win. The fighting Luke Fickles, they're not there yet. If this was the Wisconsin team of 3, 4, 5 years ago, I like their chances a lot better winning this game. That said, I think Penn State covers. You will never in a million years convince me that James Franklin does not know what the number is. I mean, I've seen the guy throwing 15 seconds left in the game, up 30 just to cover the number on West Virginia. So, I mean, if you play this game, you got to play Penn State in a one possession.
All right. So Chris has Penn State, and like I said, the number intrigued me. And if you need an ugly win, Penn State is your team. If you need an ugly win, they're the ones that go out there and get it for you. So with the rain and everything else that might be happening, Penn State is definitely the team to go out and get that ugly ass win for you. So we're going Penn State on this side. We've already picked the LSU at Texas A&M. Just so you guys know, Chris is jumping on that Texas A&M bandwagon. He says gig 'em, let's go. With that said, moving on, KU at K-State.
Yep.
Rivalry game. Tony.
I really expected more at Kansas this year. I know it's a rivalry game and all that. I thought Kansas had potential, especially offensively coming into the season. That hasn't panned out. Disappointment's an understatement for them. Kansas State, I think it's going to be a blowout. I know it's a rivalry. If you go back and look at the history of these two, it looks like Kansas State, especially over the last few years, blows them out of the water. Just give me K-State. Kansas is just they're not very good right now.
All right, Riddle.
Yeah, I've got Kansas State in this one. I will say this for Kansas, which these are games they should win anyway, but they lost to 6 to Illinois, 3 to UNLV, 4 to West Virginia, 11 to TCU, 4 to Arizona State before beating the crap out of Houston. But, they're just a few possessions away from possibly being ranked in this one too. But, yeah, I got K-State in this one.
All right. Jordan.
Yeah, I've got Kansas State. I mean, what a difference a year makes. This time last year, the folks there in Lawrence were feeling good, not only about their basketball, but their football. I mean, you had Texas, Oklahoma leaving the Big 12. You had a power void. And Kansas, they were trying to put themselves in position to claim some of that power. But they've looked like just regular old Kansas this year. I just don't see them having enough in a rivalry game. Kansas State doesn't have a lot to play for. I mean, if they're in Manhattan, there's nothing there. But they've got this game, and they'll play for it.
All right. So we got a pick there. So me and Chris picked Kansas State. Not much to say. Like I said, Kansas State just runs the football, and they play defense. So I'm just going to go with them. All right. Last game we're going to pick, SMU at Duke, Tony.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Well, I think Jordan said last week, what'd you say about Duke? You actually brought it up because you asked the question. Probably the worst team that has no business being 6-1.
The biggest fraud.
Yeah,
biggest fraud.
Yeah, they are. That's a fraud team right there. And who the hell's who? I know it's a night game, 7 p.m., but who the hell is scared to go play at Wallace Wade Stadium at night? Who? Who?
I don't know.
So with that being said, give me SMU on the road.
All right. Riddle.
Yeah, I got SMU on the road. I just think their offense is pretty high powered. Duke is not so much. Jordan, like Tony said, he said they're the biggest fraud, one-loss team in the nation. And yeah, I'm going to back that. And SMU stays undefeated in the ACC conference.
All right, Jordan.
Yeah, this Duke team is absolutely terrible. I mean, their biggest win on the year is a road win at MTSU, 45-17. A very bad MTSU team. They beat Carolina by 1. Their one loss was by 10 to Duke. To Georgia Tech. I mean, they beat Florida State. Come on, everybody's beat Florida State. A 6-point win in double overtime against Northwestern, and a 5-point win the next week against UConn. I mean, like I said, this team has been 6-1. Give me SMU to cover, just SMU to run away and hide by the third quarter.
All right. Me and Chris have SMU. Not much to say in this game. Like you said, Duke's not very good, but SMU sneaking around the ACC. They might make it to an ACC title game because they don't play any of the big teams. When I say big teams, I mean, Miami or Clemson. So kind of sneaking around. So it's interesting see what happens here. So that is all for the top 25 picks. We got one more segment, the UConn Cornelius Solid Gold Picks of the Week. Jordan, please review your record from last week, and then proceed with your picks.
2-1 last week. 2-1 should have been 3-0. Absolutely disgusting loss. South Carolina goes to Oklahoma, handles business. Colorado absolutely routs Arizona as a dog. I said that the wrong team was favored, and turned out I was spot on. The loss was Tennessee first half over 13.5 points. A fumbled, 2 picks, a missed field goal. Let's see what else happened in that first half. I mean, just
at least 14 penalties.
Yeah.
Miss wide open passes.
6 drop balls, at least 21 points in the first quarter on overthrown balls with guys having 2 steps. They needed 14, they got none. It was absolutely gross. This week, I've had to back up and punt here on this at the last moment with the Alabama line move. First, I'm going to take Oregon over 54.5 against Illinois. I think Altmaier can do enough. I think Altmaier can score enough to put this game comfortably over in a primetime spot on Friday. Might come down to a little garbage time. We'll find out. Next, TCU minus 6.5. This Texas Tech team, they have Texas Tech, correct?
I think so.
No, wait a minute. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They have Texas Tech. This is in Dallas at TCU. The line opened at 7. It's dipped down to 6.5. I'm not sold on this Texas Tech team. I think TCU will cover this number. Having to back up and play on the Alabama game, we're just going to plug in LSU plus 2.5. I think LSU wins outright, so don't even really need the points, but we'll take them.
All right. So that sounds good. So that's pretty much all we had. We didn't really have a lot of questions and stuff coming in the chat while we're going through the information there. The only comment I'm going to respond to, the only one that I saw, I hope you guys saw the same thing. Kirby is only a recruiter when talent is equal. He can't win games. You cannot say that when you've got 2 national titles and potentially could have had a third. I mean, you can't say that. I think.
What is it? I think it's 53 straight games that they've won against teams not named Alabama now.
Yeah, yeah. It's not. That's not a fair statement, and I'll admit that. So because we didn't get a lot of comments as far as like questions, what I'd like to do is, Tony, give us something we haven't discussed, something you're watching this weekend. Can be about the Vols and the off season, or not the off season, the off week, but anything you want to see.
Hell, well, I mean, we've already kind of talked about it. I really do want to see Navy beat Notre Dame, but well, see that. I want to see Bama put away Missouri because I'm tired of seeing them in the rankings because they suck. They're gonna suck for a while, for years to come.
You don't think they're going to stand on business, Tony?
Hell no. They only stand on business when they're actually doing good, and then they just falter. I mean, they're good at once every decade. I'll give them that. But other than that, no. It's gonna be stress free. I'm probably not gonna worry about too much. I'm not gonna be thinking about anything. I'm just gonna watch some football. I got nothing to worry about. Vols, no overthrow passes. Don't have to worry about that and all the other good stuff. So no, that's about it. Those are 2 games I'm gonna watch for though. Notre Dame, Navy, and Missouri and Bama. For the love of God. And Illinois. Yeah.
Oh yeah, gotta watch your boys in
Illinois,
orange.
Oregon. Yeah.
Riddle, any thoughts? Things you're watching? Closing comments.
Final at Fifth Third Stadium down there in Kennesaw State 27, Liberty 24.
All
Kennesaw
right.
State gets their first win of the year in Conference USA and overall against the undefeated Liberty. So that's a big one. MTSU is
the
on
Flames.
MTSU. I'm not sure what the spread was in that one, but they're on a drive right now, which will cut their deficit to 42-27 if they can punch it in.
Wow.
They're flirting with a backdoor cover.
Yeah.
But as far as this weekend goes, I do want to see Navy beat Notre Dame. I would love that. I think most of the nation would love that. Like I said, I've said it a couple times in these podcasts, but I do think Notre Dame loses one, if not both, of these games to the Service Academies this year. I'm just not sold on Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I would love to see another goalpost go down Broadway. That it would really make my day.
I would enjoy that. I would enjoy that too.
That would be fantastic. I picked Texas. I do think that they're just going to be too much, but I would love, and I'm pulling for Vanderbilt. And the picture that Jordan sent earlier of the Nets that's been put up, that would have been hilarious if it was real. I would have really, really enjoyed that. But just another weekend of good football. There's good matchups. I'm excited for it, like we always are, and it's gonna be a good time. I'll be at work, but I'll be watching.
There you go, Jordan. Final comments, final thoughts.
Just looking forward to a stress-free weekend. Kicking back, watching some teams I haven't seen. Closing comments. Of course, all of us here on the panel, we all know Troy, guy we work with. He might even be in the chat right now, but he and I spoke today. He was at the Alabama game, and I asked about storming the field. And I was like, what happened? And the story that he was telling me was it started with the recruits that were in the stadium on a visit. They were the first ones over the wall on the field with the team. Like 3 of those guys wound up committing in the locker room, with cigar smoke flying everywhere. And apparently at that point when the recruits rushed, the ushers were just like, hey, come on, guys. We know you want to. Just come on down. So, it seemed like it was a little bit different than kind of what we all really originally thought with that.
At least there's a story. I mean, I could accept
they didn't
that.
just blindly go,
Yeah. At least there's a
because
story.
that was at the time when I thought they blindly, I was like, man, come on, guys, be better. But, and I want to give a shout out to Will Brooks, former walk-on, Pro Football Focus, highest graded player of that Tennessee-Alabama game.
Had a big game.
Good stuff coming from a walk-on. Glad to see it.
We had a good walk-on once.
Yeah, once. We said once. The only thing I'm going to watch this weekend is the Alabama defense. Milroe has let me down time and again, so I've given up on trying to expect too much from him. But I want to see the Alabama defense. Apparently haven't went back and rewatched the game, but LT Overton in the Tennessee game has solidified himself in several first-round draft picks as a 22nd overall pick right now if he were to leave this year. Just based on his performance in Tennessee. And they said he didn't do a lot stats-wise, but he beat his man every time off the ball. And I got to go back and watch it now because I just can't believe that. But apparently we've got some talent on the D-line that has not shown its face all year. But hopefully we're getting over the hump and starting to do the right things. I don't know, though. I don't know. This team's frustrating. So with that said, we are going to wrap up the podcast, and we are going to get ready for a wild weekend of football. So thank you, everyone, for listening to this week's Roundup on Lock, Loaded, and Goated. We'll be back Saturday at 8:30 to review all the weekend madness and give honest feedback of the day's events. We look forward to seeing you. Remember, you can find this podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Please remember to like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast. We do this for you, and we want your feedback. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you all very soon. Tony, you're not paying attention. All right. Everybody. All right. Anyway, we're going to see you all soon. Have a great weekend, guys.
Have a good
Peace
week,
out.
guys.
That's it.